This is the Superhero Sidekick Coaching Podcast. I'm Joel Smith.
I'm Joe Baker. We're not here to be the superhero. We just want to be your sidekick and help you along in building your business, building your not-for-profit. Let's help you grow it fast and really scale.
Be sure to check us out on Facebook and visit us at superherosidekick.com.
Hey, everybody. It's Joel and Joe, and welcome to the Superhero Sidekick Coaching Podcast. With us again is a past guest, Lance Farrell. Lance, how you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Good to see you guys again.
Good. Joe, what's going on today?
Hey, I'm excited for the show. I'm trying to think what is going on today. I spent last weekend chainsawing down some trees, and so nothing makes you feel more like a man than cutting down some trees on your property and cutting them up and piling up some wood.
Yeah, I know what happens when you get around powerful equipment, though, Joe. You get a little dangerous.
Yeah, we fell some big trees. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Joe, I was doing the same exact thing on Sunday. I was cutting wood, and my chainsaw wouldn't start. I took it to a guy. He got it fixed. He's like, it started my first pull. I could take it back to my house. I couldn't get it started. He told me it's because he's a Hawkeye and I'm a Cyclone. Why I couldn't start. I'm not strong enough, right? But so I said, wait, he had his in his heated garage. So I put my chainsaw in the porch in the heated area, and then I started first pull. So I evidently have a fair weather chainsaw. I won't start in the cold.
Nice.
Yeah, wow.
For those of you who don't know who Lance Farrell is, Lance is the founder of Farrell's Extreme Bodyshaping, and he's the CEO. Lance is a 6th-degree black belt with a mission to inspire people to live with power and purpose. Lance, that's a great mission statement. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate the great intro, Joel. And by the way, the older I get, the better I was.
Yeah, no kidding. So Lance, you've been on our program before, and if I recall, last time we really talked about the big ideas of a healthy body. I guess the 4 components of a healthy body: the cardiovascular, strength training, nutrition, and coaching. And that was good. So if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to that. We've got a couple episodes in the past, so listen to those. It's fantastic. You get to hear about how Lance built his empire and got through some tough times with the coronavirus and so on. But today, Lance, I want to talk about something else, and that is that I've got in our notes here that last time around you made a statement that sounded really interesting, and you said that it's all about serving your customers through extreme support, extreme encouragement, extreme accountability, and extreme results. And as I read back through those notes, I couldn't help but to see the pattern of extreme. Now, some people might look at the word extreme and they might think, wow, that's just that's too much. That's outside of my comfort zone. And but yet you have it right there in the name of your company. Farrell's Extreme Bodyshaping. And so I thought this is something that's worth us talking about, because there's something real about that word. There's something real about a mindset that pushes us to be the best we can be. And so I'm wondering if you could spend a few minutes and give us an idea maybe on what went into your vision, and particularly maybe why you used that word extreme, and maybe dispel some of the negative connotations that might be with that. So I know that's a mouthful, but anyway, Lance, what do you think? What's the word extreme?
Yeah, Joel. Yeah, I mean, it's a very important word to us, and it's kind of a funny story to start this out. We had these little Scion cars, and we wrapped them with our logo. So we had Farrell's Extreme Bodyshaping on the side of the cars on the back with the phone number and all that, and great cheap marketing for us. And I had the car in Chicago, and I got out of the car, and this guy said, "Man, that's interesting. Where's your auto body shop?" He thought Extreme Bodyshaping was for car body shaping, and so yeah, for us, it's the extreme. It scares some people because they hear the word Farrell's Extreme Bodyshaping and say, "Oh my gosh, I can't do that." But frankly, you said it there, Joel. The extreme is in the support, it's in the encouragement, it's in the accountability, and it's ultimately in the results people get. We want people to have those extreme results, but it's changing their lifestyle habits. It's going into something that they probably haven't done. That's also extreme. If you have somebody to tell me what you're eating, a lot of times they shy away from that because, like, I'm asking something too personal. So in order to get to the point where we can ask these personal questions and get them to want to do what we want them to do, they have to know that we care about them. And so to me, it comes back to relationships. Everybody says, oh, we have great relationships with great people, but frankly, that's the key to our success is, and to anybody's success is doing our program, because they got to believe we're there for the best interest of them. So by doing that, we want to establish a relationship, get to know them, find out really what is behind them wanting to come in. People say, well, I want to lose 20 pounds. Well, why is it you want to lose 20 pounds? How are you going to feel when you lose 20 pounds? Well, I can play more with my grandkids. I can feel better in my clothes. My jeans will fit better. Whatever that reason is, we've got to peel that back and personally find out what their goals, what's motivating them. And then if you don't lose 20 pounds, what's that going to look like? And ask these tough questions so they can let us know, and then we can really help them dial into what they want. So number one, develop the relationship by spending time with them, asking them some key questions to figure out, peeling the layers back of that, and you feel out really what they're about. And then just give them the fundamental principles that work and hold them accountable at the same time. You know, you can tell, so you can have somebody book Body for Life and they can go through and read it, and if they don't do it, if they're not being held accountable, nothing's going to happen. You can have the perfect information, but it's the accountability part that really we kind of rely on to get to where we want to get them. And like we were talking before we started this today, is some people come in at 200 pounds overweight, and that's not an easy position to be in. And a lot of those people really, can you imagine thinking about the word extreme and the 200 pounds overweight? What are they going to do to me in there? But it's an extreme lifestyle change. It's changing your fuel, your nutrition, and it's starting to move, doing some exercise. And we pride ourselves on being very safe with what we do with the bands, because anybody can do them. And the kickboxing, some people are going to kick head level high on the bag. Some people are going to kick knee level high, whatever works for them. And as they gain flexibility, they can gain in height of that kick. So it's us taking baby steps with people, but setting some monumental goals for them in the beginning, and then celebrating little successes as they go through it. But it is extreme, because if it's new to somebody, they're not used to doing it. It's a game changer for them.
And there's a little bit of relativism with that too. If I were to come into your gym, and I've never been there before, but I'm not going to be able to do the same kind of workout that you're going to be able to do. But what's extreme to me, or what's kind of pushing me to the outer, to my upper level is going to be one thing, but it's going to look totally different than it is for you. And so you really can adapt your workouts for every person. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct. And everybody goes their own pace. We do the group exercise together because that's very motivational. People are, it's kind of healthy competition, being in the same room next to somebody that's doing the same thing. I'm kicking this bag over here, you're kicking that bag over there. But the fact is, we're in the same room doing it, and there's mirrors. So, people aren't watching, but, the instructor can see you, and your level 10 today is going to be better than it was last month. And we're hoping that next month, that level 10 is better. So you're kicking harder, faster, stronger, higher, because you're getting better as you go through it. And when you see those little goals, it's like, celebrate the small stuff, and then keep going towards that monumental goal.
Yeah. I was thinking, whenever I'm working on a project or wanting to get in shape, for me, it takes me wanting to get in shape for something. Like, it's like it's a lot easier for me to get in shape if I know that I've got like a big mountain to climb or some big adventure to go on. I signed up for one of those Tough Mudders, and just knowing that was coming and how painful and miserable it was, or would be, I started working out really hard. How important is that in what you guys, in setting goals?
Yeah, that's important. In fact, we have in our 10-week session where you get a chance to win $1,000, we have a theme every week for that session. So we focus on that theme. One of those themes is goal setting. And that's one of the early ones. In fact, it might even be the first one. But it's begin with end in mind. Stephen Covey wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So you begin with end in mind. See yourself in that position where you want to be. If it's to lose 20 pounds, you see yourself, visualize yourself being 20 pounds lighter, and how that's going to look and feel, and getting that emotion behind it. And I don't know if it's Anthony Robbins, but there's the BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goals, you know, that you put out there for yourself. And when you have that big goal out there, if you want to lose 200 pounds in 2 months, you're going to be very disappointed. That's not going to happen. But if you've got the goal to lose 200 pounds and you lose 10 pounds your first month, 10 pounds your second month, and keep going, then you get pretty excited about it. But if you don't have the goal out there, it's like trying to drive to Chicago without a GPS on your phone with no map. You know, I'm going to go to Chicago. I know it's I-80. I'm going to go east from Des Moines, and I'm going to go to Chicago, and I've got no direction. That's what happens when you don't have goals. You're not going to get to Chicago. And if you have a certain place you go, even though you've been there, you're not going to find it unless you have some direction. So by saying a goal, I'm going to go to Chicago, and then applying that plan, that's your GPS, so you can get there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. And you're so much more likely to get there when you have the big goal, have the vision, and have the plan. Love it.
Well, and what I've noticed is that, you know, when we try to have those goals and we try to accomplish those goals on our own without any kind of external guidance, it just makes it 10 times harder. In fact, I think probably most of us fail because we try to do things on our own too often. And I think that's where, you know, that's where coaching comes in, which is what Joe and I do, and Farrell's. And I mean, gosh, you're a coach too, Lance, and having that external person to come along and be that source of motivation and drive and encouragement is so important too. And how have you seen that that theme transpose people or just really grow people?
So having somebody that's been there, done that, that's coaching you makes it real. So that person can convey the confidence in the person they're helping to know, hey, I did this, you can do it too. We also like the before and after photos. So everybody gets a student manual when they start, and they can flip through and see other people, and they can see what they did in 10 weeks. When they start seeing those pictures, like, okay, I can do this. Part of being able to achieve something is believing you can first. You can believe it. And that takes the attitude, right? So your attitude is so important, just knowing that you can do it. And when people come to us, a lot of times they've tried all different kinds of things to lose weight. They've starved themselves. They've tried different programs. They've just tried to kill themselves in the gym, something, you know, and it hasn't worked for them. So when we give them the formula that works, we also want to instill that confidence that they can do it, that no matter what you've done in the past, if you apply this process, you will have success, period. And it's when they believe that, that's when the magic happens. If they don't believe that, it's not going to happen. Our minds are so powerful. What we put in them is so important.
Yeah. Excellent.
You know, is our mind really where the extreme part comes in? Is that really where like it's important to kind of be extreme? Is it in our thinking?
And I like to share stories. And I remember the 1984 Olympic gymnastics, the women's gymnastics team, 1984, Mary Lou Retton and this team, they were training physically so hard they couldn't do any more. So the coach, who was brilliant, he had them sit down, shut their eyes, and visualize themselves going through the routine in their head. So they're going through their physical routine in their head, and then taking it to the next level. Then they're getting the scores, they're scoring high, and they're getting on the podium, and they're getting that gold medal put around their neck. They're visualizing all this from the beginning of the routine to getting the medal put around their neck. And they won the all-around gold that year. That was probably part of it, because physically they were exhausted. They couldn't train any harder, but in their mind, they still could train. And so if you just break that down and take it to the regular average person that comes in to do a program like ours, hey, get in your head that you can have success. Get that gold medal, put it on your neck for achieving what you want to achieve physically, and see how that feels. When you start getting that emotion implanted in your head, now it becomes reality, because your mind doesn't know the difference between what you're thinking and seeing and what reality is. Your mind's programming that, yeah, I can do that now.
Wow. Do you actually have a technique like that you work with your people on, like visualizing?
It's not in part of the process spelled out like what I just said, but it happens because they're seeing the images in the manual, they're reading about in the manual, they're reading stories, they're getting the parables, you might say, of things that are working and how things have worked. And so it kind of trains their mind to start thinking that way with the material we give them.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense if you can, like, train your mind, you can do it. That's a big part, like, of training a 7-year-old to rock climb, is so much of the barriers are in his mind. And
Hmm.
Sam came to me not too long ago and said, hey Dad, what is the worst word that anybody could ever say? And he's thinking that he wants to learn a new swear word, And I said, the worst word that you can say, Sam, is the words "I can't." And that's why I never let you say it, because when you say it, it makes it so that you can't do it, whereas you could have done it if you didn't say it. And he's starting to get that. And it's pretty cool. We were climbing, we had brought some friends to the rock gym recently. And he says, by the way, don't say "I can't" around my dad. It's the baddest word. It was so funny. Him telling his friends that. So,
No, and that reminds me too of competing in martial arts for many years. When you step into the ring, if you think you're going to win or you think you're going to lose, you're right.
that's good. Well, you might be right.
Yeah.
But if you think you're going to lose, you're right. But, like, if you think you're going to win, you also could be in denial, couldn't you?
You could be. Your odds are much better if you think you're going to win.
Yeah.
You gotta have the confidence.
Me and you, I don't think it'd matter if I think I can win.
Well, the problem is, even though I can visualize in my mind, at my age, my body doesn't want to do it anymore, right?
All right. Maybe I could take out your legs or something.
There you go.
But the key is, if you think you can, then you'll perform at your best.
Yeah.
And
that's exactly
the
right.
key. And if you're up against somebody else who's a little bit better and they have the same mindset, you might lose, but you're going to perform at your best.
Yeah.
Another really profound thing that I saw in martial arts is, after I got my black belt, it was funny because when I was a color belt, going through the white, yellow, orange, green, blue, brown, red, and then black, and when I was a color belt, really people didn't pay too much attention to me before class, getting ready for class to start up in Ames, Iowa State University. And after I got my black belt, I'm warming up before class, and people would come up to me and ask me questions, because now I'm a black belt. Now they look at me as the expert, right? And I just got a black belt, so I don't feel like I was any different from when I was a red belt, but they looked at me differently. But what I saw was profound is when people actually got their black belt, teaching for years, we've had hundreds of people get their black belt in our program. As soon as they get their black belt, their technique got better. They went through the testing, they did their thing, they looked great, they got their black belt, they were awarded their black belt, but then they come to class next time, they were remarkably improved with their technique. And that is all mental. They looked at themselves as, now I'm a black belt, I'm better.
So literally,
Amazing.
they put the black belt on, and they're better.
Their mind made them better.
Wow.
Because they had this black belt, as we had on the wall. We are a black belt school. Your goal should be black belt. And then when they finally get there, which takes 4 years, they are better after they put it on. And the only way you can explain it is it's in their mind. That's the only way to explain that.
And it's about who they are as opposed to what they do. Also, right? It's something that's, when that becomes their identity, then they're naturally going to do those things, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I think identity is a huge thing when it comes to success. If you don't embrace the identity, but you do the things, you might even feel like an imposter a bit. But once you embrace the identity, then you're naturally going to do those things. I think it's the same thing. It's the same in our work. It's the same in our family. It's the same in our faith, and when we embrace the identity of being in Christ, for instance, then we're naturally going to take on those characteristics of Christ better than if we take on the identity of a sinner trying to do great things.
Yeah, and Joel, what you said with Christ comes around full circle, because what was the most important thing to Jesus? Relationships.
Yeah.
That was it. Most important thing. So, with martial arts, you're doing the basics so much. You're doing thousands of side kicks, thousands of round kicks, thousands of hand techniques. And so you're putting in the work and the effort. And so it's every day you're doing them over and over and over again. You're trying to perfect them. There's no perfection, but there's excellence. So you're becoming excellent at those moves. And then so when you put the black belt on, you are different. and mentally your mind is prepared for that. So you've paid your dues. You've done all those kicks and all those drills and all the sparring and everything it takes to get there. And so that also mentally, that person was ready. They've earned it. Now here they are. It's remarkable to see the change in them physically. I saw it many, many times.
Yeah. It's interesting, Lance. To me, I'm a person who I've never done any kind of martial arts at all. And to think about being a black belt, that does sound extreme to me. But the reality is that I could probably become that, or, maybe in my younger days, I probably could become that if I set my sights on it and just did it right and sought out the right training and had the dedication and committed myself to do it. And so it just kind of goes to show that we really do have limitations that we set on ourselves, for sure. That when we think about the extreme, we think about something that is unattainable, we tend to shy away from it. We tend to stick with what's comfortable and what's more easily attainable. And it seems to be that mindset can be an anchor that can really just hold us all down and keep us from becoming black belts or CEOs of something, or business owners, or whatever the level of success might be.
Lance, you're a father, right?
Yes, sir.
And I was just, as you were talking about that black belt phenomenon, when someone gets the black belt, they visibly become better. I realized that's really what, my philosophy of parenting is. It's like I want to architect these environments that are really harsh for my kids, where they can do something really difficult, and create this milestone and actually accomplish something really big. And then when they do, you see their inner confidence just build, and they're no longer just a kid. They're a kid that climbed Lost Arrow, or or a kid that did this really hard thing, or like overcame something, and I think that is part of us as parents, is building that kind of black belt strength into our boys and girls as we're developing them.
100%. And Tiger Woods said that too. He said confidence is a great thing on the golf course. Well, actually, confidence is a great thing anywhere. And the only way you build confidence is by doing and achieving. The self-esteem is true when you accomplish something. You can't tell somebody that they're confident. You can't tell somebody they have good self-esteem. It doesn't do any good. That's just fluff. But when they accomplish something they've never done before, or they tried and failed at it, now they can do it, self-esteem goes up, confidence goes up, and they become better at it.
Yeah. That's a big part of my life right now, is that. And I do all sorts of different training. Like lately, me and Sam are doing what I call misery training. And so when it snows, we don't have a mailbox like at the end of our driveway. It's like way down the block, with like a bunch of mailboxes. And when it snows, me and Sam together run to the mailbox in our bare feet. And when you get to that mailbox, your feet are burning, and you just can't believe you still have to run back, and it's so good. It's so good. So, I mean, like to see, like, and then Sam like begs me to do it again.
But if his feet start turning white in places or black, you probably better hold back on some of that,
Yeah, exactly. But he's always like, let's do another lap, Dad. Let's do one more lap. Let's go around the house an extra time. Yeah. And I love seeing that in him.
And you just gotta hope DHS doesn't catch on to that. So.
Yeah.
So sometimes, I talked about attitude earlier. Sometimes we get tougher and we learn through things that are fun that you're doing. And sometimes things happen to us that aren't so fun. And at the time we hate it, and I had a little bit of a rough childhood growing up, and I always hated it at the time. But I look back and think, you know what? That made me who I am. That made me better. That made me stronger and tougher. So it's not always bad, but sometimes we think it's bad at the time, but it's making us a better person.
Yeah. You don't actually know. Like if
you don't know,
break a leg, you don't know if that's good or bad yet. Like there might be some really good things that you're going to gain from that if you keep your mind open to it.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, hey guys, this has been extremely fun. See what I did there?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is good, but Lance, hey, we really appreciate your time. And if anybody wants to get a hold of you or find out more about your business and how they can get into extreme body shaping company there, how would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, hey, they have my cell phone, 515-770-7295, or email me at lancefarrell@extremebodyshaping.com.
Excellent. Hey, we appreciate your time. Joe, always good to hang out with you too. So we'll see you later, everybody. See you in the next episode.
Thanks, guys.